Hello there, this is Petros from Expansion Doc, and I will be reviewing chapter 1008 from One Piece titled Ashura Doji, Head of the Mount Atama Bandits. So, in the cover page, we see a cover art request by Caramel the Dancing Butterfly, and it's Robin helps a horse fly like a Pegasus. And so we see Robin says sitting on a rock, kind of. It's like the Dragon Balls, like that had those huge cliffs, Dragon Ball start, that had those cliffs, and it has the trees there, and so it's a black horse there, and she is in her devilhood position like that to activate her devilhood powers, and we see wings on the horse, and it's like see it's flying above her. There are some birds there as well, and so the horse is flying, and it looks really happy. It looks like on the ground, like, oh my god, I'm flying. It's looking like that. So it's a cute picture. So in the in the actual chapter, we are at the treasure repository behind the tower, and it's there where there are the red scabbards, right? And they're all wounded and they're all defeated, and they just got up. Someone treated their wounds, and just at that moment, Odin stepped in. Odin came, and he's like, "Oh, it looks like he took a beating, something like this." And so there. Kinemon has fallen back behind. He's on the ground and he's looking at Odin, and they're having a chatter. They're like, "Wow, I can't blame you for being surprised. I was flying Odin like this." Odin tells this, and I can't blame you for being surprised. I was flying you into the future by Togi's power. I'll explain the details later. It's a long story. And he's like, I see. Kinemon's like, I see. Odin-sama. They see. Okay, Odin-sama, you're here. But then Odin continues and he's like, we sadly don't have time to celebrate our reunion now. Sorry I'm late. We failed to defeat Kaido back then, but now we have another chance to face him. And so they are agreeing to that. They're all crying, they're all weeping, and they're like, that's right, Odin-sama, you can count on us. And so, at that moment, Asura Doji steps in. Asura Doji shouts at them, everyone, don't be fooled. This is obviously an impostor. And Kinemon tells him, what are you saying, Asura? He's right here in front of our eyes. Raizo is also telling him, Kinemon, remember what Toki-sama told us. And Kinemon has a flashback and says it's impossible. It's impossible to return to the past. And so they say Toki-sama's powers can only send a person forward in time. But Oden-sama definitely died that day. That's a fact. So how could he possibly be here in the future? And so we see Oden grabbing the sword and he's looking at Asura Doji, I think. Is this it? Oh no, he's looking at Kinemon, which has turned his back at him, and he's drawing his sword. And Kinemon tries to speak to Asura Doji again, and he's like, "But," and then Asura Doji interrupts him. He cuts him off, and he says, "I understand," but he steps forward, he punches Kinemon, and he tells him, "You've got to open your eyes, Kinemon," and he he cuts Odin's face here and he doesn't bleed and tells him, see, he doesn't bleed. And so at that moment, Odin takes the sword and stabs Asura Doji in the heart. And Kinemon, uh, Kinemon is on the ground and Asura Doji is like, he's crying as well. He's like, I'm no different from you guys. I wish he was real. And we see Odin smiling, looking down, and the others. And so, at that moment, they understand how it is possible. We were the only ones that knew Odin, and so you must be Kanjuro. Kanjuro. And so, don't be fooled, he says. He continues the facade, and he's holding his two swords, his two swords, and he's like, ha, 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 don't be silly, I'm Odin. he's still fooling with them. And so Ashura Dojin is on the ground, and they start to attack Odin, the false Odin, his conjurer, and he tells him, "This fight is as personal as it gets, as it gets. It is a painting. Where is his real body?" And so Kakaka controlling this remotely is exhausting. So Kanjuro has drawn Odin. He sent the drawing to the storeroom, and he's controlling it from far. And so remotely, they say, "I won't live to see the end of this war anyway. I've already been severely wounded." That's what Kanjuro said. "So before I die, will I pledge a dagger into the heart of the Kozuki clan as Kurozumi Kanjuro?" And so, Kanjuro opens his vest here, the cloth that he wears, and he has dynamites. And so he lights up the dynamites, and they continue to fight, right? And they continue to fight Odin. Asura Doji, the dynamite is still burning. Asura Doji steps in. He jumps at Odin and takes him outside, breaking the window. And so the explosion takes place at outside of the storeroom as they fall on some roofs. And the others look up and look down, and they are angry. Kinemon is very angry. Raizo is very angry, and they all look there and they shout. And they try to see where Kanjuro is. So Kanjuro appears, and at that moment, Jack steps in. Jack is there, and they all look at him, ready to fight again. So at that moment, Inuarashi tells them to go, and so they leave. And so he's going to fight Jack, and Jack's like, "You want to fight me alone here?" And so a fire has started, and so we see that Orochi is alive, and he's like, "That idiot! How dare you double cross me, Kaido? Roast to death!" So he doesn't care about the castle that is on fire, right? And so roast to death. There's no escape here in the sky. Now go to hell, and so I'll make him pay. I'm going to slaughter everyone. And so we cut to the Momonosuke's group, and he's still holding on to Yamato, and they're still running. And Yamato's like, "I wonder if Luffy is doing okay. I wish I could help take down Kaido as Odin." And so we cut to Onigashima at the rooftop, and we see Luffy screaming. And so he is sent back flying into the rocks there, and he's like, "How?" They're like, "How are we supposed to beat them? None of our attacks are working." And Luffy's like, he's gasping for air. So like they're definitely working. We've hit them so many times. They have to be feeling it. They're humans just like us. And he rushes to attack again. So he's like Gamu Gamu no, and he gets at the next panel he gets sent back again. And they talk there, and they're like, honestly, after all this, I'm surprised he still considered them human, says Killer. And they're like, "Well, a losing attitude isn't going to help, is it? You should help us come up with something then," Zoro tells Luffy. And Lloyd's like, "We need to split them up." Zoro says that he agrees to that, and the kid is like, "Yeah, facing those two together is just hell." And we see a panel, double page spread panel where it's Kaido in his hybrid form, and Big Mom and Zeus, and Napoleon and Prometheus. And so it's like so Luffy's like, "Big deal. I've been to hell and back plenty. plenty. This is nothing new. And so Kaido tells him, Straw Hat, your eyes never seem to lose their fire. And so this is the end of the chapter. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.